continue to allow supporters of Obama to commit these types of crimes. And the local sheriff there in Florida, or wherever the threat came from the Black Panthers, should be investigating the Black Panthers, should be going after them. It is a federal crime what they did, and it's just absolutely astonishing to me that we continue to allow these crimes to occur in America.
And Sheriff Mack, what does this case mean to you in terms of there's an election coming up in 6 months? People are trying to play this issue for political points on all fronts, not only the Second Amendment, but just to rile people up in time for election politicking.
Well, it is, and it's really sad that we're using a shooting of this nature for political gain. And these politicians just have absolutely no shame. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and their ilk have no shame whatsoever. I really have appreciated the leadership from the black community where they said, why don't we just wait? Instead of forming a lynch mob, why don't we just wait and let the police do their investigation? And to form this lynch mob that some of them have done, I thought we were against that sort of thing. You know, I'm against it and always have been, no matter what group it was aimed at, no matter what person it was aimed at. If Zimmerman did something wrong, fine. Let's give him his day in court, just like every other citizen in this country deserves. If the investigation exonerates him, then that too we must put up with and pull in our hanging ropes and go about our lives. And if this had been a white person, would we be that got shot? Would we be hearing anything about it? You know, this thing needs to be addressed, and we all need to calm down, take a deep breath, step back, and let the investigators do their job.
Well, sure, I agree. And there's another case, too, that certainly did not make Trayvon-level headlines, but American Free Press put out the story this week. Country rises up in support for New Hampshire man and Second Amendment rights. His home was apparently broken into, and he tracked down what turned out to be a serial burglar who was trying to satisfy a drug habit, fired one shot into the ground and led to the apprehension of the man. And although he was basically a hero, the system reacted by taking his guns away and trying to charge him with a reckless conduct felony charge. However, a lot of people did react to this, and he got his guns back because there was such a backlash towards this attempt to move against guns.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm really amazed that he had enough restraint to just give a warning shot into the ground. In law enforcement, they teach us never to do that. Sometimes it pays off. I mean, usually just brandishing a weapon will bring a tense situation to a complete halt. And that's why I totally support people keeping and bearing arms and defending themselves. Usually all you have to do to stop somebody in their tracks is to show them that you have a 12-gauge shotgun. Let them hear the racking of the round into the chamber. That's the most calming sound in the world, and it will stop a lot of crime. And this is another indication of the New Hampshire man. Simply, I had to fire it into the ground, and everything stopped, and the suspect was apprehended. The good guys went home, the bad guy went to jail, and that's what this is all about.
Sometimes an armed society is a polite society, as they say.
Well, it is, and that's why I say all you have to do is show the gun, and people get polite real quick.
Sheriff, we have so much to cover today. I know you are from Arizona. That's where you were sheriff. There's so much going on there between people like Sheriff Joe Arpaio and the Obama administration, almost to the level of a feud. We've got the ongoing Fast and Furious investigation, which in many respects was a false flag against the Second Amendment. We've got all this ongoing debate over illegal immigration, what to do about it, who's allowed to do something about it. And then meanwhile, we've got Sheriff Arpaio Arpaio investigating Obama, saying his documents look fraudulent according to their investigation. You've got the Obama administration trying to sue Arpaio for his response to illegal immigration. What's going on here, and what direction is it going?
Well, I really wished Obama had consulted with me before he went after Joe Arpaio, and I would have told him, there's a few people in this country you don't want to go after, and Joe Arpaio is definitely one of them. Joe Arpaio is not going to back down. He doesn't care who the criminal is. He doesn't care if it's the President of the United States. 200 of his constituents asked him to investigate this. He investigated it. He didn't go. He wasn't hunting for. He wasn't witch hunting. He wasn't hunting for some way to bring down the president. He said, he told me in person that if he found that Barack Obama is definitely a citizen and everything's in order and all his paperwork is in order and that his birth certificate wasn't really fraudulent, he'd be a hero of the Democrats. If he finds out that he's not, then he's a hero to the Republicans or to the conservatives or to the Tea Party group. He wins either way. He does not have an axe to grind against the president. He simply is doing his job as a sheriff of Arizona, where citizens brought him some reasonable suspicion and probable cause to investigate a crime by the commander-in-chief. And yes, now with the very solid investigation, Arpaio has loads and loads of evidence that there is something going wrong in Washington, D.C. And this would be the first time in my law enforcement career where we were supposed to ignore this because the suspect in the case said, look, here's the evidence that I'm clean. There's no problem. There's no crime. We're all supposed to believe the suspect. Well, that's not how crime goes, and that's not how law enforcement goes. Sheriff Arpaio investigated it. Now they want to sue him even for this, and they're trying to muzzle this great American sheriff, and it's just not going to happen.
Well, that's the thing. It's not as if the Republican candidates from Mitt Romney on down are going to be any better. But if the country lets slide documents that are supposed to prove eligibility for office and they don't pass muster, that's letting a lot of things slip away, constitutional and otherwise, in our once great republic.
Well, it is, and we need to enforce the rule of law. We need to enforce the Constitution. There are reasons the Founding Fathers put that in the Constitution, that you have to be born in America to be qualified to run for president. And there's a legitimate reason, because the Founding Fathers didn't want your loyalties divided between your homeland and this country. And it's very legitimate. I never really thought this was a key issue until Sheriff Arpaio conducted the investigation. I have said this all along, that if someone would just simply conduct a thorough investigation of it, we could put this to rest. Now, everybody ignores the evidence, and we're still not able to put it to rest. I'm amazed that Pravda from Russia has paid more attention to this issue and this criminal investigation by Sheriff Arpaio than the lamestream media has here in America.
Well, you notice Jerome Corsi's investigation, when it was John Kerry he was writing about in 2004, everyone paid attention to it until the issue was thoroughly vetted and it was shown that, you know, things weren't what they seemed. But this seems to refuse to become a national issue.
Well, like I said before, I've said it on your show before, if the media supports you on anything, you can get away with anything.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Barack Obama has done. They did it with Clinton. Clinton got away with murder and in a lot of ways. And here Barack Obama is, because he's a little darling, and Chris Matthews gets a tingle up his leg when he hears the name of Barack Obama. I don't care. I don't care who they are. I didn't when I was sheriff. It is not a matter of who. It's a matter of what. If you break the law, you deserve to be prosecuted and investigated, and that's all Arpaio's doing. He's a man of his word. He has high police and law enforcement credentials and standards, and he's simply doing an investigation that he was asked to do by his constituents.
Sure. And what do you see is going on in the larger picture in Arizona with Fast and Furious and the fight over immigration?
Well, they're all kind of related, and the horrible thing with the Fast and Furious is that the federal government, the BATF included, really caused this and created umpteen dozen crimes in the process of getting these guns down to the cartels in Mexico. And the crime scene where Agent Brian Terry was murdered using some of these guns, and cartel members using these guns that were transferred down to Mexico by our own government, which broke I don't know how many different laws. But in so doing, 3 of the suspects were all released. And again, the Obama administration being very suspicious in covering up crimes, because there's no question that this entire botched operation was done so that Barack Obama could promote more gun control in America by blaming these crimes and the infiltration of these weapons into Mexico on gun shops in southern Arizona. It blew up in his face, and so they tried to cover their tracks as best they could. They transferred Melson, who was the director of the BATF, to some other cush job, didn't fire him, didn't prosecute him, moved him around. This was so that they can keep him quiet. And this is some of the worst crimes ever committed by our government, and especially by a president. This is worse than Nixon. Nixon tried to cover up a burglary between the Democrats and the Republicans. Who cares? Nobody was murdered. In this situation, several have been murdered. Hundreds of citizens of Mexico have been murdered with these weapons that our own government transferred into Mexico.
It's just amazing to me the level of interweaved action between the Attorney General and Homeland Security, the Obama administration, all on these issues that seem to reside around Arizona. I find it very strange.
Well, Arizona's been standing and trying to make the federal government do its job. They also want to make the federal government more irrelevant and inconsequential in our lives. And that just gets the federal government really mad and jealous. And, you know, they want to get mad and throw their popsicle in the dirt and run home crying. And when the worst thing you can do to the federal government is prove to the American people that we don't need them. And that's exactly what Arizona's been showing. And that really gets the bureaucrats in Washington very agitated. And I would say the criminals in Washington, it gets them very agitated.
Well, in closing, Sheriff, tell us about your ongoing work in educating sheriffs and your run for Congress here in Texas.
Well, anybody that wants to see about the race and wants to help, please go to sheriffmacforcongress.com, sheriffmacforcongress.com. I need all the help I can get there. But I'll tell you what, the thing that I'm most excited about is the Constitutional Sheriff and Peace Officer Association, CSPOA.org. Go to that site too. That's the answer for taking America back. And we have a lot of good sheriffs really standing up. We just spent the weekend with some sheriffs in California. We did some other work in Philadelphia before that. And this thing's really starting to take off. We're loving the support and the grassroots support we're getting from the American people. So everybody listening to your program right now, go to CSPOA.org and get involved with this great movement to make constitutional sheriffs nationwide.
COSP.org and sheriffmac.com. Sheriff, we appreciate you joining us once again, and I'm sure we'll speak to you in the near future.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon. My best, Alex.
Take care, of course. And that's it for tonight's Nightly News. We'll be back tomorrow. Darren McBreen will bring you a number of special reports and carefully crafted packages. And we'll, of course, be back next week with all the breaking news. Keep fighting and never give in to tyranny. I'm Aaron Dykes for the INFOWARS Nightly News.